My dad was lecturing me today. Most of it was about how I need to try harder at school and get better grades. I already try hard at school, it's not like I'm slacking. I'm not as naturally smart, and to be honest, it makes me angry that he doesn't think I'm working hard. My dad kept comparing me to my older brother Peter, who's currently a student at Yale. I hate it when he does this because it just makes me feel super dumb, and even if I spend all my waking time studying, I can't be like Peter. By the way, I've told my dad before that I hate being compared to Peter and asked him to please stop, and he said he would. This was a few months ago. So I started comparing my dad to my stepdad, who I know my dad doesn't like, saying things like how my stepdad makes a lot more money than him, takes us on fancy vacations, makes my mom a lot happier, is way more fun, and is a way better dad. The last part was an exaggeration. They're both great dads, and my stepdad is more of a buddy than a dad, but I wanted to get under his skin, and I knew this would. It made him really upset. He told me to stop, but I kept pushing and said some more things to make him uncomfortable. I stopped when he started crying. I obviously feel bad for causing him distress, but I also feel like he was getting a taste of his own medicine and getting a sense of how it feels when he does that to me. Am I an idiot in this situation? Wow, you got him there, kid. Bullies never learn unless you find their point of vulnerability. I'd say you'd hit the bullseye and then hit your bullseye arrow with at least 2 more arrows. Tell him you'll quit giving him crap when he stops giving you crap. I'm not sure it was bullying. Often this "why can't you be more like" is well-intentioned and meant to inspire and uplift. OP, you are the idiot. You did go too far. You could have restated how you felt and attached a comparison between him and your stepdad as a comparison for you and Peter. Then ask him how he felt at that moment and work off that. Going on until you broke him down like that was a bit much, especially since you hadn't tried this approach before. But it doesn't. It makes you feel inadequate, judged, and pressured. I remember at school they brought a gifted kid over from another school and paraded him in front of us. Why can't you be as good as? He seemed like a decent guy and I felt sorry for him. Talk about setting a kid up to be hated. OP didn't start it, but he may have ended it. OP gave Dad a taste of his own medicine. Maybe took it a bit far, but that's better than not taking it far enough. I hope Dad learned his lesson and saw how pointless the comparison game is. Update: am I the idiot for comparing my dad to my stepdad and making him cry? Thank you for your advice and perspective on the situation. I texted my dad this morning apologizing for my mean words. I told him I said those things because he kept comparing me to Peter. He said it was okay, but he was still acting distant with me and wouldn't even look me in the eyes when I went downstairs and tried to make casual conversation. So then I confronted him about being upset. He believes I meant what I said about wishing my stepdad was my biological dad and wishing my mom had met him first. I apologized again in person and told him that's not true, that I only said it out of spite, but he's not convinced. He did end up apologizing to me for comparing me with Peter. He said he only pushed me to get better grades because he knows I'm capable of it and wants me to have as many opportunities as possible for my future. He said he'd never compare me again with Peter and that he was sorry it hurt me that way. I feel really regretful for being so mean to him yesterday and saying untrue things that now we can't unhear or unbelieve. It's a lesson learned on my part to not get caught up in the heat of the moment and say things you can't take back. Wow, your dad is now being ridiculous, playing the victim role and switching it at you. I hope he apologized sincerely and stopped making you feel guilty. I'm a parent and I know my children can do better, but I know that a parent should never compare their children because that causes hurt and resentment. If your dad feels you can do better, he should have sat down with you and expressed that without comparing you to your brother. I wonder if you were crying afterward, your father wouldn't have shown the same compassion. So my fiancée just moved in with me and my daughter, Teen. I'm working on syncing our routines and informing her of everything we do around the house. I forgot about my daughter's boyfriend who usually comes over every Tuesday and Thursday. Basically, he has basketball and I pick up him and my daughter from school, drop them both off, and they walk back to the house together because I have to go back to work. I hadn't told my fiancée this. However, she does know that she has a boyfriend, she just doesn't know our schedule. She has yet to meet him. They got home before I did and watched a show on the couch in the living room and fell asleep. They were fine until my fiancée walked in and blew her crap. She ripped the covers off of them, telling him to get the heck up and get out before she calls the cops. grabbed my daughter from her spot and started accusing him of doing things not consensually, even after my daughter profusely told her that he is her boyfriend. She just said that my daughter was covering up for him and decided to get him out the house without any of his stuff and throwing insults at him. My daughter told me, I reviewed the video I have on the camera, so I know this is true. I talked to my fiancée about this and she said that it's my fault for not telling her. I said that she should have stopped when my daughter told her and, at the very least, read the room. Does she really think they'd be in the living room if she was covering up for him, with a camera, and not trying to hide him anywhere when they heard her come in? I said that she was an adult and handled this situation with ridiculous immaturity and acted on impulse. She tried saying that she was just looking after my daughter, but I said that that was not looking out for her, and she acted like a child about this, not an adult. I said to review what she did. She got a child out of his seat, accused him of doing something with no knowledge of what happened, and no proof whatsoever that that did happen, then forced him out the door yelling at him with insults. That sounds pretty immature to me. She kept saying she was just trying to help. I repeated that she forced a child out of the house with no transportation resources, accused him of grave accusations, and then made insulting and disrespectful remarks about his appearance. His parents came over and had requested she not be there. I asked my fiancée to leave while they came over, or I could find a spot halfway to meet. My fiancée got angry that I told her to go while they were over, saying I was kicking her out of her home, though I did say that if not, I can clearly meet them halfway. However, she argues that I put her in a spot to look like an idiot, even after all of this, if she says no, and I knew what I was doing with that question and pressuring her out of the house. Not the idiot. Please say this is an ex-fiancé. You just dodged a big mistake. Her reaction was crazy, and when you called her out on it, she doubled down and defended herself. Please think long and hard about whether you want such drama, especially caused by someone who has no problem disrespecting your daughter and treating her boyfriend like he was some dirty criminal trespasser. Have you all noticed that when a step-parent oversteps, it's usually those new to parenting? They're on a power trip, similar to a newly promoted manager. However, this one has the self-awareness of a table leg. Curious as to why you said your soon-to-be ex-fiancé made fun of his appearance. Is he a different skin colour or social class or what? OP, you are the idiot if you stay with this woman. This woman is a huge red flag that can cause more damage. She lacks accountability. She didn't even properly apologise. Why is she still in your home and why are you still marrying her? She completely lost her crap on your daughter. She put her hands on your daughter. She screamed and yelled and threatened your daughter. How the heck is none of that a deal breaker for you? She needs to leave your house permanently. I can't believe I read all that crap and you're worried about her feelings. My fiancé gave me 2 engagement rings. The one he proposed with is smaller and simpler but more my style. The second ring is a family heirloom, and while it's lovely, it's not the type of ring I would be comfortable wearing every single day. So when he gave me a second ring, he told me he wanted me to wear it on special occasions and at certain events because it was more fitting. Unfortunately, I've only worn the second ring once and I almost lost it, so I haven't worn it since. It was his cousin's wedding on the weekend and he asked me to wear the second ring. I originally was going to wear it, but I felt so paranoid, so I switched back to my usual ring before we left. I didn't expect anyone to notice or care, but his extended family kept bringing it up, and multiple people asked my fiancé why he hadn't proposed with the heirloom ring. I know his uncle pulled him aside and asked him if he was even serious about me since he didn't give me the right ring. We've been fighting over it since the wedding, as he's upset I didn't wear the ring after I said I would, and because I knew how important that ring is to his family. He thinks I should have known his family would ask questions, and he admitted he thinks he should have just proposed with the heirloom ring instead. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. It was one event and you agreed. You said you would wear the ring. He took it off right before leaving. You knew before doing that how important it was. You chose to create this situation. Geez, some women get nothing. She gets 2 rings and it's a damn problem. Agreed, this is totally of OP's making. At the very least, if OP was concerned they would lose the ring, OP should have spoken to their partner about that fear. Instead, OP acknowledges that there was an agreement and they broke it. This was one of those special occasions. If OP was so concerned about losing the ring, give it back to the family. Tell them you appreciate the sentiment with which it was given, but it's a priceless family heirloom. Put the ring on a necklace, get it resized, and wear the heirloom under the other ring so it doesn't slide off. So how did none of these occur to her? He holds the heirloom ring dear to him and knows it's not your style because he got you a different ring on purpose. He seems to be putting more thought into your feelings and what's important to you than you are to him. People half the time, it's your body, do what's right for you, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, he's telling you what to wear and when he's controlling. People on this post, he told you to wear it and you didn't, you knew how important it was, you are the idiot. It's an heirloom, it's important to him, this is your fault. People, you give me whiplash sometimes. No, you don't have to wear something you don't want to wear. However, if you want to be a wife, you must learn how to communicate with your partner. Communication is key to a healthy relationship. I'll say everyone's the idiot here because you all need to learn how to talk to each other. My son's school releases some annual merch for the different houses, and it's an extra cost that we must pay cash to pre-order. I gave my son $50 to get the hoodie, and the change would be his to do whatever. That day, my son returned and told us his wallet had disappeared from his bag. I gave him more money just for the hoodie, and we reported the missing wallet to the school, but nothing turned up. On Monday, I was waiting to pick up my son when this lady came and introduced herself as Bob's mother. She handed me my son's wallet, it has his name on it, and apologized and said she found it in Bob's room, and he confessed that he'd stolen the wallet to pay for his hoodie since she couldn't afford it, and gave the change to her as the money he found on the street. She reimbursed me half and promised to give the rest later, but I told her to keep it. The money wasn't the problem. It was the disrespect of digging through someone else's crap to steal. I was raised to own up to my crap and apologize directly myself, not to hide behind my mother's skirt, so I asked where Bob was. She went and brought the kid over and he started apologizing. I stopped him and told him that he didn't steal from me, so he was apologizing to the wrong person. We waited a few minutes until my son came out with his friends. He restarted his apology, but you could barely hear anything from the softness and stuttering, so I told him we couldn't hear and that he should speak up. He raised his voice, but all he said was sorry. My son asked what he was sorry for, and Bob went quiet, so I again jumped in to tell him we had to get back home so he should hurry up. Bob started tearing up, so his mother explained everything to my son and apologized again. He accepted it and we went our separate ways. When we got home, I told my wife, and she scolded me for intimidating and embarrassing the boy, he's a young teen, in front of his peers just for wanting to fit in. The merch isn't something everyone gets, so I don't get the whole fitting in narrative that strong as if he'd stand out when that's not the case. I wasn't overly mad or shouting at him, but I can see how I could be an idiot, so I'm going to say not the idiot. The kid's mother should have been saying exactly what you said. My daughter stole once. I brought her back to the store, made her go up to the cashier and return it, a candy bar, and apologize. She definitely learned her lesson and still remembers it even now. He will remember this next time he tries snooping in your son's or anyone else's belongings. And as for the money, you're a bigger man than me. I would have made them pay the full stolen amount on the spot, but that's just me. You are the idiot, although, to be fair, you didn't cross that line until this bit. I jumped in again to tell him we had to get back home, so he should hurry up. Bob didn't jump your kid in the parking lot, and he's not trying to pretend he didn't do anything wrong here. It's fine to still insist on a direct apology, but if you're more concerned with confirming he's genuinely sorry and won't do it again than making a public humiliation, give him the time he needs to say what you want him to say. I 100% agree, and people saying not the idiot have no idea how to raise children. The mother brought her son to you to give it back and make it right. She didn't try to hide it or excuse it. Also, you need to find out which punishment she's already given him. It's not your place to try and educate him so he doesn't do it again. What you did was pure revenge and not justice. You wanted revenge for your son, which is a huge, idiotic move. My ex and I alternate every Thanksgiving. This year it's my holiday. My boyfriend and I had planned to have Thanksgiving with his family and friends this year, and they're coming to our house. I would like my sons, teen and pre-tween, to spend the holiday with them and their little sister. However, my ex's sister and brother have kids, They're cousins that they're close to, so the kids are bugging me to let them go to their house after spending some time with me so that they can go to their Thanksgiving because my boyfriend's family is boring and weird, which I find incredibly disrespectful. My boyfriend has been in their lives for 2 years now, and we just moved in with him this year. My teen in particular has been refusing to bond with my boyfriend, told me he looks like Jeffrey Dahmer, and his family is weird and a bunch of rednecks. My younger one told me that my boyfriend's friends are also weird and asked him weird questions like, why does he have a tablet and a Nintendo Switch? The kid is fine with my boyfriend though, and my boyfriend is involved with the kids and watches them and takes them to school for me when I work. I'm most upset with my teen as he's being unfair to my boyfriend, who has been trying hard to talk to him. Meanwhile, they love the heck out of my ex's girlfriend, so it's not an issue of not liking significant others of their parents. Thanksgiving is a time for family in my mind, and they spent last year's Thanksgiving with their dad's family and cousins. I told them they could not go and they were to spend the entire day with my boyfriend and me. Now my older son is throwing a fit and saying he'll just go to his room and not come out. My younger son is fine. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Firstly, you're setting a precedent. Someday you may have a very good reason to want the kids when it isn't your turn. Forget it. Secondly, you're prioritizing your boyfriend's family versus their actual cousins. And if nobody else tells you, I will. Trying to force your teen to have a relationship with your boyfriend will not work. The more you push, the more they will withdraw from it. The most you can demand is civility and respect, to the degree that it is also given to them. Punishing him or calling him disrespectful for telling you how he feels about the boyfriend's family is also a no-no. He feels how he feels. So now you've told him not to be honest with you. So you will be greatly surprised when the whole thing blows up in your face, and you have no clue. Meanwhile, they love the heck out of my ex's girlfriend. I'm betting OP's ex did not try to force the kids to love his girlfriend. OP should stop the competition and listen carefully to how uncomfortable her children are with her boyfriend. She can't force the kids to love him and his family, but she can drive them away from her. And why would you move in the boyfriend so soon? You dating, moving a guy in, and having a new baby with that guy are all you things. None of those things make your boyfriend, not even your husband, your children's parent. And it surely doesn't make his family your kids' family. Your kids are trying to tell you this and you aren't listening because of what you want, to pretend you're all some big nuclear family. Making kids live with someone they're not related to, not bonded to, and actively do not like is a great way to ensure they leave as soon as possible and cut you off.